This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You know, they did me wrong. They did me dirty. They made me drink. But I'm not a baby. I'm not a kid.
And co-host Marney Winfield.
You know, you can be pretty sure that the decision that you made was the right one. God kind of paved the way for what was supposed to happen, I feel.
26th of April, 2022. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marney Winfield.
Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast. I have some sinus infection thing going on. Sorry.
He's not feeling too hot, but it's not COVID.
It's not COVID because I tested and it said one line. And the one line means that it's negative. At least it's not the COVID it's testing for, and I don't really know. I don't want to get Deb Garrett all messed up or mad because she doesn't like when I say bad things about COVID.
Oh, okay.
Well, not about COVID, but just about like when I got COVID after being vaccinated, I was so pissed off because I was double vaccinated and I still got COVID. Mm-hmm. And I was taking precautions, and then your stupid coworkers got you sick, and then you got me sick.
Yeah, it was not fun.
I was mad. I'm like, why did I get vaccinated if I'm going to get COVID anyway? Like, it's so, it would have been worse. You don't know that. So when I said that one time, like, Deb got mad. But hey, Deb, it's not Shout Out Thursday. Just name dropping. I love Deb, though. She's great. And today, though, we're going to review what we did yesterday. Mm-hmm. We went, there was a little get together, a little town hall meeting at the library. Mm-hmm. And they asked us to be there. So we were like, okay. So with there, it was fun. We watched a movie. It was a presentation, I guess, it wasn't really a movie. It was a very short documentary put together by some middle schoolers. They were 8th graders. In my school, that was junior high.
Okay, in mine, it was still middle school.
Yeah. So, I don't know, 8th graders, though. They put this together, and it was about the opioid epidemic. Mm-hmm. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good for 8th graders putting it together. I think it was fantastic.
I mean, what did you do in 8th grade? I remember I was like,
shoot,
Foursquare champion.
Funnel ball.
Everything in gym class I was champion, and then like I learned how to format a floppy disk, maybe, which you don't even
business tech
use now. Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah. Wasn't making documentaries. That would have been so awesome, though.
Yeah, we didn't have... Oh, you know what? We had some kind of media class, but it was nothing as cool. It was like taking pictures and developing pictures. Mm. But it was nothing like making documentaries.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes long, but it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. You were crying.
Oh, my gosh. It was super touching. I mean, just people who get super personal and like vulnerable to get out and say, talk about things like they talked about opioid epidemic, losing people from overdose that they love, who they were and how great, and quote unquote normal, these kids they were just kids. And it was just, I don't know, got me really emotional.
Yeah, we see it through the eyes of someone who's recovered. We're one of the lucky ones. Mm-hmm. And not everybody makes it. And to see the parents, and there was a woman that was in front of us, and I don't know if it was her daughter or her friend that was sitting to the left of her, but when they were talking about, in a part of the documentary, it was talking about losing, a loved one and this and that. And like the woman on the left, like reached over to her and like patted her on the back. Well, not pat her on the back, but like mm-hmm. consoled her, like, oh, it's okay, Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh man, there's another, parent that had to bury their child. And I don't know. That's tough. Like, I hope I never have to go through that as a parent.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you go through even the stuff that, like I put my mom through, and you putting your mom through all that stuff. I don't even want to go through that part of it. And just not knowing, is my child going to die because they can't pull it together, as they early on think, why can't you just not drink? Why can't you just get it together? Mm-hmm. If you actually want to learn and read about addiction, you'll learn what it does to the brain and how the chemistry in your brain changes to where it is. Like that's our food. That's our water. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing we care about. And that it doesn't make sense to anybody. No, I almost died. And then here I am 3 months later drinking again. Doesn't make any sense. I've heard other people say the same thing. Like, I had this and that. And this one guy I saw at a meeting last week was saying he had like stents put in his heart and stuff because I guess he shot up with something and got MRSA, and they had to like do all kinds of operations on him, and then boom, 2 weeks later he's back using again.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense, but of course it doesn't, because that's addiction. That's how that works.
Yeah, the obsession, it just takes over.
Mm-hmm. And they had like a panel afterward, and they had like a bunch of people up there, and I had to leave on purpose at one point just because I didn't want to hear what the doctor guy had to say or whatever, because I'm not a fan of that place that he's representing. But then even the guy in the drug court, like the judge up there, like they come to these, and maybe this is like the politician side of it all. You come to these like little town hall meetings and you just put on a smile and go, yep, we're really helping. And then I'm like, want to raise my hand and be like, hey, what about that person that you didn't let go to treatment last week and you like made them go just sit in jail? You want to talk about them? And again, I don't know the whole case of it, but you can't sit up there 1 minute and go, man, this is horrible, and man, this is bad, and then turn around and then start smacking kids in the back room. Like you just said, you understood that it's a disease, and somebody, and again, everybody always uses diabetes, so let's go there. We're not beating people up for eating too much cheesecake, are we? It's the same thing, It's probably worse with sugar. Sugar is a bitch, man. Mm-hmm. But anyway. I mean,
I think that they did the best they could. I'm trying to be positive about it all because it's so hard. Like, I get it. Like these doctors, right? I mean, there's people that need pain meds, as well as anyone. And if any, and they're saying, oh, doctors are giving away too many meds. They're just writing scripts right and left and refilling and refilling and refilling. And we don't know when people are actually in pain or not, because you can say you're in pain all day long. And then it's just, when does it end kind of deal. And so are these doctors supposed to take your word for it, right? And then just keep filling your prescription?
Well, my doctor, I told her that, look, that's cute that you're giving me the low dose, but I'm not taking just one anymore. I've been taking these for a while, and the tolerance is already built up. So I got to take two. So even though she thinks, okay, I'll just write him a script for this little amount for 1 week. Well, after a couple months, that's not going to last the whole week. Like, thankfully I have good days and a wife who loves me. But I don't know. It's still like they think, okay, we'll just write them this, but they're still causing the problem of, here's just a little bit. I'm going to run out before I'm supposed to because of tolerance, not because, you got to take them as prescribed.
Well, the tough part about that is
prescribe them correctly, and then
right. But but them prescribing you a higher dosage isn't going to make you. It doesn't heal you. That stuff doesn't heal you.
No,
it makes you not feel the pain.
Yes.
So that in itself is just saying, like, this is why they're trying to be they're trying to be more stringent on how much they do prescribe.
Well, it's not how much they prescribe. I would say it's how much access do I have to it? Because like let's just say they're like, every 5 hours, you take 10 milligrams. Okay. I would. Yeah. But I'm only getting 5 milligrams. So I have to double up. So then I'm running out early. Then what do? I call on Tyrone. I'm just kidding. Tyrone does not have drugs. But like I'm saying, like then you start making phone calls. Hey man, you got some of those? Of course, right. I'm not doing that.
And they talked about that. They did. They talked about the fact that there's this weird gray area where obviously they don't want to not give prescriptions to people that need it for pain management, because if they are still in pain and they need something, then they will look for street drugs.
Yeah.
And those are more dangerous.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, quit acting like it's a turd on fire. Not to you, but to the doctors. Like, do it responsibly. Say, look, like, obviously, Corey, you are a 250-pound man, and this is what it would take, and this is what it takes. But you've been going through this for a while. Now, you were off of them for a minute, But now, you came back and now boom, boom, boom. So let's do the math on this. And you're telling me that 1 doesn't work. So let's do 2 and let's do it correctly. But then, next week I'm going to go ahead and we're going to back it off. I have a plan with it. And just be smart, but don't just say, well, I'm going to give you the minimum just because that sounds good for me. I cover my ass.
I think they're scared. I think that they're trying to do the right thing.
But they're not doing the right thing. I don't know. Let's not go there. Let's talk about puppies. Puppies are cute. I don't know. It gets me worked up though, and
But everybody said we're not doing enough. They all across the board, no matter if it was the judge, no matter if it was the doctor, no matter if it was the CEO of the Addiction Treatment Services Agency, if it was the moms that were sharing, the police chief, all of them across the board said this is still a problem. But nobody has a real answer is the issue. It's like the federal government needs to be ready to help everybody who needs it. And we don't have that kind of money out there. I mean, we don't have that funding out there available.
See, we do. And that's
what I mean. Get it.
It was brought up about funding. I'm like, oh, no, there's funding. I wanted to say it so many times. Like, no, there's funding. It's just the wrong people are getting it. And it's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. But if you want to go back and listen to the tapes, I think it was a long ass time ago on this very podcast, I said we need to go into schools. We need to have a class. It's taught just like biology. It's taught just like not sex ed, not like 2 weeks of sex ed or however long we had. An actual class that you take and you learn about addiction.
Yeah.
Because prevention is really the only way that.
Yeah. That's so. And they talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can throw however many millions or billions of dollars into treatment, which is needed, definitely needed, because the substance use disorder epidemic is not going anywhere anytime soon. Mm-hmm. The war on drugs we're losing. And
what really baffles me is it's like 11% or whatever of people even reach out for help. What if that was 50% of people? What are they going to do? We don't have enough treatment centers.
Yeah, I know.
So then you and I would be like, oh, well, shit, we'll run one. Give us some money. Oh, no. We can't give you money for that. What? But we need more treatment centers. Well, yeah, but we can't give you money for that. We just reimburse you for building houses and stuff. Like, what? Like, that's the kicker. And that's the part of it that just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, oh, well, we want to help with transportation. Well, we can't buy you a vehicle. How are we going to get them there? Like, what do we throw them on my back and like get a wagon out and just wheel them down the road? Like, how do you think we're going to get them there? Like, of course we use our own vehicles. Well, now we use company vehicles, but like, I don't know. It's just, it's not funny, but it is kind of mind boggling.
Mm-hmm. Prevention is definitely where change can be made.
Yeah. And I think in Traverse City, they're a community that I think, and that's obviously where we live, they want to be the first, and not really want to be the first, but they want to set a precedent of if we actually went into the schools and had a little office set up there, taught a class or just, hung out like counselors. We used to have police in our school. They would kind of do the same thing. Mm-hmm. But if we just like, hey, our office is at the school, somebody wants to come talk, we're here to help, no judgment. And if we taught a class, about it, and there's so much to learn about addiction, it's insane. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would really open some minds, that's for sure. It would open that discussion too of, hey, this is somebody that I can talk to about this. That we wouldn't glorify anything. They wouldn't be like, oh, wow, Corey Winfield's cool as hell because he used to drink a lot and he's smoked pot and done cocaine and heroin and meth. He did ice. He just done it all, acid. No. They're going to say, wow, my life can be so much better if I don't have to go through all those things that Corey went through. And not that it's going to be a boo-hoo story, but just, I don't know.
No, I think I see what you're saying. And I think that it's the same thing when you think about when people do open talks or versus like speaker meetings at closed meetings, right? They're kind of different. They're tailored to the audience, right? And if you're going to go in to talk to children, I'm not talking about like kids, but like And we were talking about that too. Like, what is the right age that would be appropriate to introduce, the subject and have them listen and know enough to where it makes sense, but also, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. That was more of a question than anything else. But that being said, is that you present the material in a way where they listen, and it's, you're having a discussion about it, and you're addressing the severity of what addiction is and where it can take you. And, that's the prevention piece that I think that we need.
Not that crap we got when we were kids. This is your brain on drugs. Huh?
Yeah.
That's my brain on. That's the egg, man.
Even the kids that did the documentary were saying that they felt very limited for the education that they had gotten at that point, up to that point, about addiction. And that it was like, he said, I think he pretty much did say, like, it was a police officer saying, don't do drugs. That was pretty much all that they got. And this was just not too long ago.
Yeah. That's what
they
I'm
were
saying.
in 8th grade.
Like, they need to be educated for real.
Yeah.
Not just the roll in with the little, hey, it's sex ed week. Oh, next thing I can tell you not to do drugs. No, but to actually teach them.
Yeah.
Like, this is what happens, kids.
Yeah.
And this is the real life part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I said quit sugarcoating it. Quit taking the little police trailer around saying, look for the drugs that they're in here, this fake bedroom we just made, and show them a meth house, show them a crack house, like put one together real quick. Here you go. The kids were like, oh, I don't want to go through that. Like, that's real stuff, and will it scare them? Probably. But it's true. It's real. And if they find themselves in that situation one day, they'll be like, well, they did warn me. Not like me, where I'm like, where's the egg? This feels pretty good. Like all the negative stuff that I was told about pot. And then I smoked pot and thought, wow, this is better than drinking because I'm not hungover. And then I really, really liked pot. Of course, it didn't, I wasn't using it how I thought I would be. I don't know. I like to get high, man. I was a young kid, and it didn't get me hungover, and I was running from problems that I didn't even know existed. I did, but when you're that young and you just want to fit in, there's so many things going through your mind where it's like, oh, this helps me escape, and I love it. At least that's what I thought at the time. But I wouldn't smoke pot now. I like being present.
Yeah.
I was gone for so long. Mm-hmm. You and I both were just like, heck yeah. But then I just kind of took that into the other drugs. Like, oh, well, they said cocaine's bad too. Tried that. All right, I didn't die. So I was going to have a heart attack or something. That didn't happen. I ran out though. That sucked. And I wanted more. But I just felt like I was lied to about all those drugs. And that's why I would be drinking every time I usually would try other drugs. And I just thought, okay, well, they said this about that. They said that about that. I'm sure heroin can't be that bad. Same thing with the ice or whatever. And that is not a joke. Don't ever do ice. That is something you don't ever want to do. I'm just telling you right now. Don't do it. Hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast still.
But the thing is nobody picks up their first of anything and is an addict. It's a progressive disease, no matter how you look at it.
I don't know. Ice is one of those I think that the first time you do it can easily be.
But I mean, in terms of like, if your mindset is, I'm going to experiment, and I'm picking this up one time and this is going to be an experiment, right?
I wouldn't try ice at all or meth.
No, I never have either of those.
That's something that you just is
right, because you were warned about how addictive it is.
Yeah, because that will.
But people didn't say heroin is really addictive.
I said cocaine was. They said everything was. I didn't believe them.
You didn't believe them.
Pot was. Every drug they said except alcohol. And then whenever they just said don't become an alcoholic, like it was my choice. Mm-hmm. They didn't explain the tolerance to me. And I thought it was great that I could drink 10 beers You know, one time I think I came home. My mom swore I drank a whole case of beer by myself, and I didn't. I don't think so. But she's like, "No, you drank that whole case of beer by yourself," and then wanted to go get more. And I was like, "No, I don't remember it that way." But like yeah, I'm a man. I can drink a whole case of beer by myself. You know, like that becomes like a bragging point, which it shouldn't be, obviously. But it's just, if we teach the kids the right way, I think. And what is the right way? I don't know. But I do believe we should be in schools, though.
I don't know what's the exact right way. I don't know if there is an exact right way, depending on families and where they're at, what they already know or what they've already been exposed to, et cetera, et cetera. But why not teach them something? Talk to them about something.
I took a home ec class or something. I don't remember one thing I learned in that class.
Yeah.
At least if I was taking an addiction class, I would have learned something. I would have learned don't mess with meth at all or ice.
Well, I mean, those people that shared, that had made that video 4 years ago, all of them said that it had in some way affected how they thought about experimentation and drug abuse and the hazards that surround it.
Well, did you hear the one guy? He had to kind of walk it back a little bit because he said that he chooses to hang out with better people. And I was like,
oh,
whoa.
Yeah.
Then
he didn't
like,
mean it. He
yeah.
He caught himself because that's not what he was trying to say.
I'll hang out with those dirty drug dealers, them drug kids. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he didn't mean it like that.
I was like, wow. Yeah, the kind of look on his face. I think it's when I like jumped in right after that to kind of like switch it off. But it was a good documentary. I recommend you check it out. I want to talk to the principal of my old high school, Mike Churchill, and like he was a few grades below me. That's how old we are. Oh, jeez. But to see what we can do there. And someone was telling me, they're like, oh, the school actually pays people. The state tells them that they have to pay so many people to come in and do presentations like that. And I was like, what? I can't remember who told me that. They're like, yeah, you should look into that. All right, well, definitely could use the gas money. But to go do a presentation like that would be awesome. And then to like just kind of set up in a school would be great too. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't see what's the harm in that. Nothing.
Right.
What's the one bad thing that's going to happen when that comes down? What? Nothing. The one lady though, she was kind of upset. Her son has an alcohol use disorder, and she was saying, you know, the school suspended him and this and that, and it's like she's trying to say, look, you know, alcohol is the same thing, but it's not treated. It's still treated as, oh, well, you're just a dumb kid who's drinking. Like, just don't drink, man. But how like the opiate stuff is like, oh well, it's because you were doing this because you stubbed your toe and you know you broke your ribs and now alcohol people, whatever, just don't drink. You know, and I could hear it in her voice that she was kind of irritated by how the opiate stuff. Oh, everybody's giving all that attention when alcohol's over here just smiling, waving. Super Bowl halftime, Budweiser, yep. Bud Light, yep. Hey, it's great, awesome.
One point they did make that is that the issue that is now that so many drugs are laced with fentanyl, and that's where the majority of these overdose deaths are coming from. And it's in everything. It's in marijuana. It's, you know, cocaine. It's even I think just like the people are melting down the patches or whatever. It's everywhere, and it's really easy to get, supposedly. And that stuff was scary. Like I think something about it. I saw a picture of it somewhere about how much of it can actually cause you to overdose, and it looked like grains of salt.
Yeah,
I mean, like that amount.
It's nuts. And you know, I used to think having a Narcan kit in the car. Yeah, I'm prepared. No, I need about 8 of them bitches in there, Like from what people tell me now too, they're like, oh, it took 5 Narcan kits to bring me back. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about too. If you think, oh, I got a Narcan kit. Well, maybe I need a couple. Mm-hmm. We're actually going to be out at Faith Reformed Church. They do, not actually at the church, or next door to the church. They do a dinner on Thursdays in Traverse City. And we're going to be out there. The dinner's from 5 to 6, and if it's free. If you want to just come have dinner, hang out, feel free. If you know someone who needs a meal, bring them with you. And we have Narcan kits out there. We're going to have other locations where we're going to be as well around northern Michigan. It'll be up on our website as we're putting them together for the month of May. But, get you some Narcan kits. Just do what you can to prepare yourself when something happens, just so you're not stuck with your hands out going, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you have one, that's cool. Ask for 5. I would, if you're getting those kits, ask for 5, ask for 6. You don't want to be in those situations. It's very tough. And fortunately, I have never been in those situations yet. And if I am, I'll at least be prepared as much as I can. But yeah, it doesn't make somebody a bad person for trying something and, using it as medication, as I used alcohol, as I used all drugs. It was a medication. I was trying to hide from stuff. And, those deep emotional scars can run so deep that we don't even want to see them, especially when we're young, because we're not supposed to have these problems. And a woman that we're going to have on the podcast next week, Nancy Dow, she lost her daughter. And I'll let her tell that story, but I think it's going to be emotional, and I want you here for that. Mm-hmm. Marney.
I love Nancy. Nancy's amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a good podcast.
Her heart is so big.
Yeah, she's funny. One of the things, and I'm going to get better at it, that I'm really bad at, is asking people for money. And unfortunately, that's something that I have to do. We're a nonprofit, we're a charity, and we do help people, and it takes asking for money sometimes. And she was telling me that there are some organizations that I can reach out to, and I was just telling her that I'm not good at it. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I know I need to lean into the uncomfortable, and that's how you learn, and that's how you grow. But man, I'm so uncomfortable with it. And she's just like, oh, I'll teach you. And she just said it was just I don't want to say cocky smile, but just this attitude where I believed her. I was like, okay, show me how. And there's another guy named Steve that I need to get a hold of too. And he said that he was going to help. He would help me, and that's going to be so valuable to me and to 217 recovery, and to, I don't know, anybody else that I come across, because I'll teach them too, but learning things is just so valuable.
Well, the thing is, they believe in what we're doing. They know that this is for this. There's a reason that why you started this, and the things that you do actually help.
Yeah. Do you ever ask yourself why though?
Why?
Sometimes I wonder. I'm like, because I don't know. I just wonder, why do people believe in me?
Well, of course.
I don't know. I'm like,
why would you say that?
Are people crazy? I don't know.
No, absolutely not. You're crazy for saying that. Because it's a niche that nobody's doing. In this thing, this is a whole new thing we're talking about getting something together to show people in school, right? Like a video, just like they were doing. That takes money to put together. That's a project. That's something there will be an end result. There'll be something created that can be used again and again, and we can be those people to go and not just press play, but be there to answer questions and field thoughts and ideas and concerns and all that good stuff.
Because if it's done right, to me that seems like really the only way to really tackle the whole drug epidemic, all of it, is to get in the schools and just to teach the kids, not just pop in once No, to be there to teach them. Mm-hmm. You know, that's again learning. You know, once they learn about it, when they're at a party, they probably would choose not to go to that party. Is there drinking there? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I don't really want to be around drinking. I don't really want to be around people smoking pot. That's not my thing.
Right.
Because it leads right to the other drugs, you know. And that's not a gateway. I love how people always jump on that. That's not a gateway drug. Can't believe they said weed was a gateway drug. They said it's all a gateway drug, man. It all is, you know. But anyway.
So you going to play that piece?
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for your cue. Okay, this is the beginning of Predator and Prey, Opioids, Savage Effect on Our Community. That's the title of it on YouTube. And we'll throw it up on our website too, 217recovery.com.
How can addiction start?
Well, you got to look at it as a predator and then understand the prey. And we all know what predators are. And, you know, they stalk and then they kill. And then you have to get into who's the prey and what are the characteristics of the prey. What does this thing prey on? And, you know, it preys on all of us young who don't feel like we measure up, don't feel like we're quite fit in. And they're the ones that the disease is looking for. And then someone introduces them to a drug, and with one hit of the drug or one drink, those feelings start going away. They feel like they fit in. You know, they feel like they're wanted there. We believe it's helping us more than hurting us. And that's the way it gets in, and that's the way it starts killing us, a little bit at a time.
Okay, that's all I'm going to play, I think.
And that gentleman, I think he said his sobriety date was like 1976 is when he got sober, I believe.
David Cantrell is that guy's name. I liked what he had to say. And I think he's on the FAN board, Families Against Narcotics, in Northern Michigan.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be speaking at. There's going to be a forum. And
on the 5th
of May. And your boss is going to be there too.
Paula Lipinski.
I hope she knows she ain't getting her whole 30 minutes.
She's telling her story.
Hour. Yeah, because they told me that I had 10 minutes, and I just kind of laughed at them. And they're like, are you going to be good with that? Like, meaning, am I okay to talk for 10 minutes? And I was like, no, that's just me getting started. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Like, is it possible to talk for just 10 minutes?
You're going to have to really plan.
I'm going to set a timer.
Yeah. Then we get like a little flashlight and give you signals at like 2-minute intervals.
Yeah, and then I'll end it with like, I'll start talking about something real important, and I'll hear my timer going off, and I'm like, oh.
And time's up.
I was just going to tell you the most valuable thing I ever learned about addiction, but we'll save it. Go ahead, Paula. Take it away. I'll do something smart like that. But no, it'll be fun, though, and we're just kind of introducing ourselves to the board, because even though we contract with Families Against Narcotics, it's kind of a big organization. And I just assume that, oh, well, since we contract with Families Against Narcotics and their Hope Not Handcuffed program, like, people know about us. But then we meet the people here in town, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's great. I've heard of you, but I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, we work with your organization. You know, we take people to and from treatment.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be a good chance for us to do that. And then, of course, the UFAM rally's coming up. Getting excited. We got to do a pre-UFAM rally podcast live from somewhere. I'm getting excited.
Can you wait till it stops snowing?
Until June? No, honey. It's May 19th is when the rally is.
I know. I'm just tired.
We'll go down. We can go
tired
downstate.
of
It
winter.
snowed again today. I know.
It's like it doesn't end.
Northern Michigan. If you like snow.
And you know what? I wouldn't be so upset if it would have just stayed cold. But like, no, it gave us these like teaser days of almost springtime. And now these poor little daffodils that have well, the very few that did, the one that I saw is now covered in snow. So disappointing.
Yeah. Well, we can always move to like somewhere else warmer. I wonder where the cheapest place in America is to live. It might be Fort Smith, Arkansas, but we're not moving there. I've been there, done that. Nothing against my Fort Smith people. I met some great people there, but no, can't do it.
I'll take your word for it.
Good hospitals.
It's good.
It's too damn hot. Yeah, so check out the documentary. Like I said, we'll put a link on the website, or I'll just put the video on the website. Let's do that. And then I'll put it on the app as well. So yeah, check it out. I'll make it really easy for you.
It's only, I think, like 18 minutes long, and it's engaging, and it's like, you'll like it.
Yeah, and the next, I mean, I like these feel-good stories and stuff, and this is actually kind of sad more than feel-good.
It is.
But I wish they would show another one. Like, part 2 of this needs to be like the person calling to get help and then being belittled by the PIHP.
What? He's kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. This is that happened to me.
No, we're not making a movie about that.
Oh, so we'll just let that go like it's okay. No, because this movie's like, reach out for help, get help. And then when somebody does reach out for help, and then they're like,
this is to show children?
People reach out for help. And
you want to show that to children to get them excited about?
Time. No, just to show people, not just to children, but to everybody, the whole world. This is what really happens when you call to get help. They say, oh, this is the 5th time you're going to treatment. You going to learn anything this time? And then they start beating you down. But anyway, that should be made, though. Just saying, because, yeah, just reach out for help. Like, that sounds good. It sounds great. And I'm not saying everybody that reaches out for help always gets treated shitty, but I'm saying it does happen, and that should probably change.
You're saying touch on the stigma piece.
Show what really happens, is what I'm saying. But thanks for listening to the podcast.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Listen on the 217 Recovery app. Download the app and rate us in your app store.